And we're live.
We are as ready as we'll ever be to go live, whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means. Exactly.
So we were just saying just before we streaming, it's been a long time.
Yes, it's really good thing we're not actually doing this for our raving fans.
Well, you mentioned the
They'd
fact
be
that you missed this
sorely
conversation.
disappointed.
They would be sorely disappointed. I'm realizing as we talk how much I miss the conversations.
Oh, I really missed the conversation. I was just kind of talking about the fact with some other friends that how to say, I think I'm just having a little bit of a hard time with motivation or morale, or I'm not sure what it is at the moment. And as I was getting ready for this call, I was like, actually, you know what? I actually realized these calls really contribute a very positive difference to that. Because you give me so many compliments, probably.
Start with a compliment or add a compliment in.
Huh?
You make me feel less weird.
It's not of the best, one of the not as complimentary compliments you gave me.
Well, it's important because everyone else I speak to, I just feel like, am I the only one that thinks this? And do you know what? I do find myself sometimes thinking either Willem would like this or Willem would totally get what I'm saying here or what I'm about to say.
You don't have enough friends like me, perhaps. I do have others, I think. No, I'm not like you, but
I don't think I want another friend like you because it'd be too weird.
It would be too weird to have two of me. Or not
there's
two of
there's
me,
only one
two
you.
people who can, not two of me, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
Another, geeky friends who understands your geeky references or thinks weirdly or what? Thinks laterally, perhaps?
Yeah, so I have friends who get my geeky references and I get theirs. I have friends, do you know what it is? It's the thinking laterally and the willingness to go down rabbit holes and not be worried about it and not get annoyed.
Yeah.
And not having to explain my thought process.
That happens to you a lot.
Oh, it happens quite a lot. I mean, maybe it's because I'm a teacher, but that's different.
I've mostly I think I've stopped doing that.
Other times I'm like,
what I mean by that is I think I've stopped, not completely because it still happens to me. I've stopped going and explaining things to people because they don't understand. So I just listen to them instead. But I actually, that's what's missing. I need to express myself more in writing and probably in more structured thoughts. And I've not been doing any of that.
I saw a couple of posts on LinkedIn.
Yes. I do have a couple of posts on LinkedIn, but that's really just, I'm like, okay, I really need to do something. And they're half the time not really work related. Next time, and I was meant to do that on Friday and I didn't. I wanted to write, okay, I'll write a list because that's what works on LinkedIn. And on
you mean a listicle?
Yes.
Yeah. I've been writing on LinkedIn quite regularly, and I've had my principal comment on one of my posts saying this is exactly what James is like, which I was really grateful for. And then I had a couple of other teachers comment, and I get a few comments quite a few likes every post, and a couple of comments almost every post.
And are you still doing what, your 1 minute? What kind of posts are you doing these days? I don't see them.
These are teaching posts. This is all about teaching. I'm trying to rein in ranting about teaching, so I'm just trying to be a bit more positive and a bit more practical about teaching, and they like it. Except, like you, I was religiously posting every week, and then I missed a week, so I missed a couple of weeks. So it's sustaining it is kind of hard.
It's really hard. And actually, what's sustaining it for me is sustaining the interest in posting stuff related to work and finding work.
Yeah.
And I need to look. I have both I don't even know if I should say this in streaming. I think it's okay. I don't think anybody will watch it.
Looking for work?
I need to look for work and I need to look for new clients. And so I think that I should publish and post more things related to my work, related to what I do work-wise. But I also have increasingly less interest in doing that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is. And it's just, I'm getting um, just some fatigue, I guess, about, and it's not just now, it's not recent. It's been ongoing for the last 2-3 years. Yeah. So there's a likelihood for, there's part of a possibility for wanting to look for something else at some point, career
Yeah.
wise.
Wow. Like a
Maybe
master's
not
or a
completely different.
PhD.
That's not a career.
No, it's not.
I
No,
mean,
it's not.
unless you want to pay me for a living during that time, unless I have a patron of some kinds. But then to have a patron, you need to perform and do something, entertain them, produce art, something. I don't know.
So when you say like career change, do you mean
I don't
something
know yet. I have
completely different
ideas
from?
about, it could be something completely different,
Wow.
or it could be one thing that I think could be good would be to have a regular contract for a while. So a full-time job, or
Hmm.
something like a maternity cover is something that
Hmm.
lasts for a while. I'm also just from practical and immediate standpoint, I'm a little bit missing to work with other people on something.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time on my own, and I've spent a lot of time working on my own, and given them like having less of the energy to generate stuff.
Hmm.
Now I can absolutely get back to it or look at, what's going on, and just also a part of me is also, okay, I need to get back to generating, writing, doing stuff. Um, what was I going to say? But yeah, it would be nice to
Other
react and be
people.
part of a team, to have, to have things to do. So it's like when I do have a client, I'm perfectly fine to do the things I need to do. Although I'm quite doing a bit of procrastination with my teaching this semester, to be honest.
Tell me
I
about it.
ambitiously changed a lot of things for the course, one of the courses I'm teaching, and I'm in my last session is tomorrow, and I still have prep work to do, and
Yep.
it's not like a complete arc and module at all,
Yep.
particularly
Yep.
not as comprehensive as I think it should be. Anyway,
Yep.
I hope it's okay by the students, and I'm late grading their first papers that they gave me weeks ago, months
Yeah.
probably.
I've put my marking on hold
And I
because I
have
want to
to
get
give
ahead
them
of my
another
planning.
exercise tomorrow
Yep.
that I haven't finished planning. And I put it off several times because I realized it was way too ambitious. Well, way too ambitious. That it would be taking a lot of time. And I still don't know if they really would understand all the concepts I want to include. And not that they wouldn't, in the time that I have is what I mean, right? It's not that they
Yeah.
wouldn't understand. It's just I don't have enough time. I only have 15 hours for this thing. It's really not a lot of time.
Mm.
And I
Yep.
only have 3 left.
Totally get it.
So there's a part
Totally
of
get
me
it.
that's like, maybe I should just show them a documentary.
This is what it is when you're teaching. You make a really interesting point about the working with other people thing, because so in my job we have an office, and it's a nice office, but it's at 3 of us in there, and it's kind of a squeeze in the 3 of us. But we've got a new member of staff who is joining, but we also have another member of staff who's overlapping. So we employed someone on a short-term contract to cover the gap before the new member of staff starts.
Right.
So the head of business said, could you go, somewhere else and work? I'm like, no problem. I'm quite happy. I'm a roving teacher anyway. So I moved a lot of my stuff down to the staff workroom, which is where I used to hang out. And that's a bigger room with computers and the stupid nonsense we used to do in there. Like, just ridiculous. But I would get some of the best ideas for lessons from bouncing around stupid nonsense in that room.
Yeah, bouncing around ideas is very, very
Oh,
useful.
it's just,
It makes a huge
so
difference to
much.
work in a team like that.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. Whichever random person was in there, I would just say something stupid or like that came to my head, and then I'd decorate the room. So we've got a plant in there, and right at the top of the ceiling, I wrote "Yosarian lives."
Yeah. Huh?
Yeah, Yosarian lives, a reference to Catch-22.
Oh, I haven't read it.
Really?
No.
I kind of assumed you had. Okay, so and
Yeah,
then it
no,
just
it's a very, but I haven't read it. No.
then there's other things I decorated the room with, and it just becomes. But there's been 2 student teachers who've been in there, and I've had some really great conversations about teaching and all of that kind of stuff. And one of them's come and watched me teach, and then we've been talking about how do you manage a classroom and all that kind of stuff. And I've realised I'm actually pretty good at what I do.
I'm sure you are.
but I forget that. But then I got some ideas from him about like what I could do, and like, it's that just from shifting environment made a huge difference to.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's that whole thing from a work perspective, and the network is also, for me, or at least, yeah, as an independent, is I'm missing a bit of a professional network.
Right.
As in, people to work with, people to give ideas, people to get business from, recurring clients. I just don't have enough of that. And I don't know how much that matters, but I'm questioning, which direction should I go in to unblock something? So possibly I had lunch with a friend, professional acquaintance on Friday. Then he was recommending a co-working space he went to, which up to now I've always thought it doesn't really matter to me, but maybe I'll just try something like that. I need to change my environment a bit. Another friend said maybe you need some he was like, his first thought about me was like, do you want to go? Do you need something exotic to go travel for a while? And I'm like, no, it's not really what I need right now, but I do need a change of environment and professional motivation, if that makes sense.
This is another interesting point. I can't remember where I read it. It might have been Wired.
And then the other thing is I better have a bit too much time on my hands. And when I have a bit too much time on my hands, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm unhappy. I need to change careers. I have all these ideas. Now, I'm always going to have excited ideas about new things because I do that.
Yep.
And I do have a long-term question about, okay, am I in the right field? Because I have more and more questions about it. But I also know that if I'm busy and I'm working with clients and or a full-time job, then I'm fine. I don't really,
Because the what you're saying is reminding me that we said about co-working spaces. I can't remember where I read it. I think it was in Wired. The future of learning and collaboration and knowledge sharing and all of that kind of stuff is changing, and co-working spaces can actually be a new form of learning, intellectual kind of stimulation. I suppose like cafe culture almost.
Yeah.
But the maybe even more extreme, like where the way people live and work, if they work in co-working spaces for themselves, they become knowledge hubs that could rival university, where you've got all these people in a range of different fields in a working space where they just.
It really depends how. I'd be interested in that. I'd be interested in that, and I agree. The thing that I'm not clear about, that's why I should try again, because it's been a while since the last time I tried a co-working space. Is that so? The friend who was telling me about the co-working space he went to for a little bit. Appreciated going somewhere, working with other people, having other people around. And I was like, well, that sounds kind of nice, but if I'm not interacting with them, if I don't have a reason to, and if I don't know them, then I just have a bunch of strangers working next to me. And for me, I think that it doesn't particularly do the job. Now, however, on second thought, I'm like, I think I should try it just for the sake of doing it again. And it has been a while since since I booked out a co-working space, really. I mean, the first couple of times I tried it, I was like, I don't really get I kind of think that me in front of my computer at home is the same thing. It does
this is making me think of two other things. One thing is some people are just naturally going to go up and talk to people. Davina's like that. She'll just talk to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
I have to be in the mood.
Well, I don't, and if it depends the style of the place.
That's true as well. Yeah.
And I think there's multiple styles of those places, but if you just have anonymous people working on computers next to one another, it's the same as a Starbucks, more or less. You're like, all right, well, which exists as well. There are coffees that, co-working spaces that, you pay for the day, you have coffee. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, then the other thing is about being in this, changing my workspace, is that I brought my headphones in because if I have my headphones on, I'm going to swear. I don't really care. Like, don't fucking disturb me. Right? I'm wearing headphones. I want to concentrate. It also stops me from starting stupid, crappy conversations with people. But a couple of times, one particular colleague, I'm in the zone. I got my headphones on. It's basically like, I'm concentrating. We'll just come and start waving your hand in front of me and start talking to me. Like, do I need to get that? Have you seen that? I'm sure you've seen that meme of like a picture on the back of like, don't disturb me because I'm whatever. Like, there's loads of stuff like that. I almost want to get a do not disturb sign stick on my back. I thought the headphones would communicate it, but it doesn't.
Well, it depends
Some
if somebody's
people.
like, I mean, they're going out of their way, so they wanted something.
They didn't.
You're
They
still
were just
there.
like, good morning.
Really?
That was it. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and done it twice. Twice.
That's funny. Hey, do you need something? Yeah, good morning. Well, really?
So, and I did have this thing with Davina where I said, look, if I got my headphones on, the only time you should interrupt me is if the house is on fire. I literally said that to her.
Wow,
so I've got my headphones on, and she taps me on the shoulder. Like, it was,
it's
I
obvious
was
that
in
they're
the
going
zone.
to disturb you at some point.
Yeah, she just tapped me on the shoulder to ask me some inane, crappy question. What are you doing? Why?
The question was important to her at the time she was asking.
I almost totally lost my shit, very nearly, because I specifically said, "Is the house on fire?" Like, just if the house is on fire, then. So if I stopped all that, I just put on Brain FM,
good job,
which I really like and don't use
Brain FM. Is that a radio? Is that a joke?
Oh, I have not told you about that. Oh my god, it's so good.
It's
so good. It's I tried it and it was so good. I bought a subscription that they play music, and it's like designed to match your brain stuff. I was like, it sounds like BS.
Of course it does. It sounds like BS. You're right. That you read my mind. How does it recognize your brain patterns?
Well, you choose what, like, do you want to relax? Do you want to work? Do you want to just chill? Whatever, recharge. Put it on, and I put it on, and somehow, and when I want to do deep work, put on the music, I get in the zone really fast. Now,
so did you give up your Spotify subscription or other music things?
Nah, I've still got that. I've still got Spotify. I'm not getting, well, Spotify I share with my sister. I'm not like, I'm never giving up Spotify.
But it's still, is it worth the same price?
Well, the Brain FM is specifically music to get you in a particular frame of mind, whatever it might be.
Yeah, no, but that's not my question.
Oh, what was your question?
Is it the same subscription cost or price?
Is the price the same?
Yeah, more or less.
No.
Less than
Spotify. But
I'm curious. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I was like, and then I put it on in class with a really awkward class and they're older students, so like 17, 18, but they're awkward. And I said, right, but you can do this question. I'm going to put it, and I just put it on. All of them were like super focused and got loads done. And one of them is like, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try the free subscription and try the app. And now I found out he subscribed to it. He got his parents to pay for it.
Okay.
I was like,
now
wow.
I'm intrigued. I'll try it out.
Yeah.
Did you just block?
It works.
Okay. Should we finish? You just seem to be slowing down. Oh, you're lagging, or unless I am. No, you're
We're
back.
both lagging. No, but okay, cool. So yeah, honestly, I was really surprised.
Should we finish our game?
Oh, we're close to that.
We're at the end, really. So I think it's the last final.
Yeah, I was going to say we should finish the game.
And I obviously did not read anything, and then we can chat about it, debrief.
Oh, wow! Can I read my writing? Yes.
All right. So you went to the warehouse.
Yeah, and I was talking to some guy on the road out of his car. Not Phil. Was it Phil Block? No, it wasn't Phil Block.
Yes, you went talking to Phil Block.
And he told me about Crazy Mickey.
Yes, that's right.
And did I speak to Crazy Mickey?
I think you did. Or did you?
Roy?
Yeah, because you heard about Roy.
Roy with his moonshine.
That's right.
In San Bernardino.
Yes, that's right. So
what's his name?
You did talk to Mickey.
I talked to Mickey. He told me about Roy. What's his name?
Beduct. Let me see.
So now, obviously, I want to go see Roy. That was the point we left at.
Yes, that's right. And I'm not sure I did the rest. We did.
Oh, lucky.
We kind of breezed through the last
No.
couple of scenes a little bit fast for the sake of actually managing to finish this thing one day, I think. All right, so you drive out there. Okay.
Well, hang on a minute. I'm just closing things because I'm lagging.
Okay.
All right, cool. Yes.
Should I close things?
No, it's me. It's always me. Yeah, we have gone through. Oh, shit.
I'm wondering if I should close them.
Whatever film it was, I can't remember.
You're lagging.
Have you frozen or have I frozen?
Well, from my perspective, it seems like you have, and my Zoom is not telling me to have a meeting information. Are you back?
I'm back.
Well,
yeah, I can hear you.
I mean, okay, good.
So where I'm at is, and what I've found out is that theory that Helen and the accountant got obsessed with Helen, and then Helen was trying to play people off to get money to sort out her dad, I reckon, or something like that. And then I think Crazy Mickey took her to San Bernardino, and Roy, what's his face, gave her some moonshine, and then she was out of it, and just she was held there for like however long it was.
Yeah. That's
my theory. Was it the garage?
Yes, he has a garage down in San Bernardino. Oh wait, sorry.
And Crazy Mickey works for Whitey, or is he just a
Crazy Mickey works for Bugsy.
Oh, he works for Bugsy. Okay.
Sorry, just checking the scenes.
And is Bugsy the book guy?
Bugsy is the guy from out east.
Ah, okay. It's coming back to me. Yeah, the AM Hillian magazine thing. The top guy from the east. By the way, those new glasses.
Yeah. Oh, wait, they're not super new. I bought them a few months ago, but I've not been wearing them very often. Made an effort, and this is my new. Well, you've seen it.
It's a Harry Potter, right? Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you drive down out of town to the garage, and it's really just we're on the outskirts of town, on the edge of the desert, really. So it's very quiet. There's just a few buildings on the side of the road, and there's a little bit further down, really just by itself, more or less. There's a few old, in the distance, a few old derricks that don't seem to be particularly in use anymore. There's some oil fields. You've drove past a couple, but you've already, it's already been a few minutes since the last residential house complex, which was brand newly built. Already passed behind you, and now this is an old wooden building with an old garage sign hanging out saying Roy's repair shop, and it's looking pretty quiet.
Is there a lot? What time of day is it? I don't remember.
It's
like afternoon, evening, or
afternoon. A little bit late in the day, afternoon.
Okay, so I want to drive up and find out if Roy's inside.
Sorry, you want to do it?
Oh no, I'm remembering the film.
The Big Sleep.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just rereading. I'm reading my notes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm remembering the film. Okay, so
Let me check if I've forgotten anything. Yeah, old, remote, everything's covered in dust. Near the Mojave Desert. There's a pair of wooden doors in the front, paint peeling. Presumably there's like windows, so there might be some kind of residence or some kind of apartment above the garage. Yeah, how do you want to play it? What are you doing?
I think I'm just gonna go right in and
Okay.
say, yeah, go right in and look for Roy, knock on the door, whatever. Rather than do anything elaborate. So I can drive into the garage at the front of the garage, and it's deserted. There's nobody around, right?
No, there's nobody around. It's really quiet. Borderline a couple of what's it called? Anyway, but tumbleweeds.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Sorry. A couple of tumbleweeds.
Is there any like is there anywhere where I can go, like a door or a?
Oh, there's a pair of
someone?
wooden doors in the front. Or you could look around and circle around.
Actually, yeah. So I'm gonna park in the front and then look around. Just walk around.
So you look around the shop and yeah, there's a back door. And there's a front double door.
And that's it.
There's a garage door.
There's a garage door. Is there any other building around? You said there was like a residential kind of like thing.
That's above. So you have one thing that has like a big double door garage. There's a door right next to it.
Yeah.
I saw wooden paint peeling. There's a sign that says Roy's Body Shop.
And that's it.
And then there's windows above that you like it could be storage, it could be an apartment, depending. And then there's a back door with a little three sets of stairs.
Okay.
I said 3 stairs, right?
Yeah, 3 steps. I'm gonna 3 steps or 3 sets of stairs. Just 3 steps.
3 steps.
3 steps. Okay. I'm gonna go knock on the door next to the garage.
Okay. All right. So. Sorry, I'm just checking because, of course, I should have read this before, but.
And hopefully there's someone around called Roy.
No, there's no reaction to the door.
Really? No reaction to the door. Okay.
No.
Can we try the back door then?
All right. Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
It's open.
It's open?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go in.
All right. So you walk in. There's still enough light, but there's so much dust through these windows and stuff hanging around that it's, well, I mean, you can see, but it's still a bit dark. So basically it's a big garage. There's a big car in one corner. There's some, you walk in and there's you can see there's a corner with a still, so with a whole big sheet on it. There's looks like a bunch of just, I don't know, repair stuff, machine parts, some rubbish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Do you look for anything in particular? What do you do?
I want to look to see if there's anything around that suggests Helen was there, or the presence of moonshine.
Okay. So you inspect and look around. You see under a big cloth that there's a moonshine setup, which is a still and some like a distillation setup. It doesn't look, I mean, it clearly has been used, smells like alcohol. There's some bottles around. And you just look around, there's a bit of a desk. There's a desk on one side. It's a bit messy. There's some paperwork, a phone. Sorry, I missed what you said. You seem to be frozen.
You're frozen. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm back.
well, yeah, we're freezing.
We are.
This is not good.
I've got the message.
Yeah, none of that when we were talking earlier.
I know. I've got the message. My internet connection is unstable.
Aha.
And I've closed it as much as I can. Hang on. Close. Okay. Close more. Okay. So walked in. There's evidence of a still. It's been used. It smells of alcohol. There's other machine parts lying around.
Yeah.
So there's evidence of moonshine. But I'm looking for something that says that Helen was there, and I haven't seen anything yet.
No, and so as you're poking around, and so there's the main car in the garage is a dented Nash Rambler.
Okay.
And you hear some low. There's a noise coming from the trunk. Some moaning, low moaning.
Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
Dent.
Oh, you were gone? Oh, because I'm not looking
was.
at the screen at the same time.
All right.
Sorry, a dented car called a Nash Rambler.
Yep.
And you hear, as you're poking around, you hear some low moaning coming from the trunk, like
Oh my God. Okay, open the trunk, obviously.
And you find a burl tree horn.
Yeah.
You don't recognize the name, but basically you recognize the face of this dude. He's one of the goons that works for. You've seen him at the casino. He works for Whitey Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Barely clinging to life, blood soaking the linen. He's been wrapped in a linen bed sheet, blood soaking it. You can nearly not. You can barely recognize the dude. Like he's been beaten to a pulp. His face has got like gigantic bruises. There's borderline like exposed tissue in the head and just like blood clots. He's got a big fissure and he's got a shattered skull. Even for you, who's like seriously hard boiled, it's just the sight of him is really not good. So you need to do a stability challenge just to stay put and stay together. Given it's really gross.
Yeah.
So one dice. How many do you have in stability?
I don't know.
Should I share my screen? I can share my screen.
No, I slow it down though, but
it might slow it down. But yeah.
Yeah, for some reason I could never access the.
So you have 2 dice in stability. So you start with throwing 1.
Okay.
And you're looking to have as high a number as possible.
Yeah, I just rolled a 3.
Okay, better just throw the second one.
A 1.
A 1?
Yeah.
Okay, that was borderline. You just like stagger back, you're horrified.
Yeah.
Can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Anyone would. You just borderline retching.
Yeah.
Oh. And you're going to have a penalty on. Well, basically, what happens is pretty simple. So just as soon as you're staggering back, you're completely horrified and very destabilized.
Yeah.
So you just vaguely sense somebody coming at you from behind.
Yeah.
You can throw another dice, but you're going to have a penalty for that one. And so this is sense trouble, which you have 2 dice.
But I've only got
with
1. Yeah.
And you have a penalty because of the state you're in.
3.
Okay, throw the second one.
Two.
Huh?
Two.
Yeah. So lights out.
Ah,
You're gone. It's just something's hit you in the back of the head.
damn it.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. But so what I'm beginning to get is I feel like I've stumbled into the system versus the East Coast mob,
Possibly. No, the East Coast mob.
or was it
You've
because Crazy Mickey works for Bugsy and Bugsy's over from
the East Coast mob.
the East Coast mob? I feel like I've stumbled into something here that maybe Helen stumbled into too.
Yes, quite possibly.
This is what I'm feeling, and I've just been kind of lights out for me.
Yeah. So you wake up again, just like head splitting really, really bad. Like your head hurts.
Yeah.
Your head hurts. And there's a crackling clack, 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 really loud metal on metal sound that's probably, I mean, you're guessing just you kind of like coming back out of it from being unconscious. So it's the rattling of a winch, and you're in a big locked cage. You're wrapped in a bloody sheet.
Yeah.
As far as you can tell, I mean, it's probably the bloody sheet that you just saw the dude in the trunk with.
Yeah.
And it's just all around your body, on top of your suits and everything else you had. It's disgusting. It smells like old blood and you know, piss, and it's really gross. And you're being lowered in some shaft. It's dark. And you just as you're coming out of it, and you're half like, so that it's, you know, kind of
I'm like mummified.
A man-sized cage. A little bit
man-sized cage.
Yeah, you're in a man-sized cage. It's a little bit bigger than a man, but not much. So you kind of like half just, and you just try wiggling as it's moving around because you're being lowered in a shaft, and you just look up, and who you imagine is the guy that you probably Roy.
Yeah.
You look at this guy, and he's just chortling. He's got a big sadistic smile on his face, and he's kind of activating and lowering the wrench.
Yeah.
And the cage drops on the floor.
Yeah.
So it's just not that far high. I mean, he's just kind of one floor up, if you will. Right. Yep. And there's some wooden setups, and you see it's dark, but you can just distinguish it's getting darker because the light's coming from above and coming from Roy, where he is. And there's you can see that there's like a tunnel behind and around you. So it's just like you're in the middle of some kind of tunnel, and there's two tunnels there. They go out in the dark.
Can I move? I can.
You can.
I'm just
move.
wrapped in a sheet and in a cage.
Yeah. You're wrapped in a sheet, and you can get rid of the sheet. You have on your head.
I've got
like, you got a big headache, but you got free movement aside from the fact that you're in a cage. So I mean, the cage is kind of just yay big, sort of. You can step a couple. You can watch. Roy's right there looking, kind of expectantly.
Okay. So
and that's what's going on.
Okay.
Let me check if there's anything else I'm missing. For now.
Is there anything else? Because I just want.
Yeah, it's coming. But if there's anything you want to do, tell me.
Yeah, I want to say, hey, Roy.
Yeah.
All I wanted and say, how can we have a talk? Can we chat?
Yeah. You don't have long left, but sure.
But why am I down here? I just want to talk to you.
Poking your nose where you shouldn't be looking. You damn. What are the names? Private Eye, whatever.
So he knows I'm a PI. How does he know that?
You had a card on you, probably.
And he's obviously searched and found. Okay, so So I want to say to him like something like so I'll say to him, I don't know what I'm in the middle of here, but I don't know what you think I am or what I'm doing. I'm just working a case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking.
But I don't know what you're coming out to do here, but you better if you don't. We'll just make sure that you don't have any reason to tell anybody about this operation.
What operation? I haven't seen anything. You clonked me on the back of the head before I could see much.
As you're talking, you hear some snarling noises.
Oh my God.
You hear like snarling and just something that sounds like an animal or a groan or something in between.
Yep.
And just out of the darkness of the tunnels, some silhouettes just distinguishing themselves come out. And there's several. And they're hunched. And there's a stench that comes with it, just like of corpses, something with a mix of like a dog and a corpse. They're hunched humanoid. And as they arrive, you see them just like have kind of semi-canine snouts, rubbery gray skin that's folding with like just dirty and like dried specks of blood on it. And they're jostling, and there's just like running, semi-running, half walking towards the cage. Shambling. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can count. I mean, counting. You just maybe I don't know, between 8, 7, and 10 maybe of them, and they're starting to come at you and banging at the cage in rage, like, and you just back off a little bit. And so,
okay.
You're going to have a stability challenge because there's like some monsters coming at you.
What? Okay.
So you can throw one die. Do you have any? Oh, here's an interesting question. Let's check if you had. Do you have anything to help you? So you might have an edge.
I don't know if I do.
Don't forget, you also have pushes.
Okay.
These are things that allow. What do they do again? Because it's been. I'm so bad. It's been so long. I haven't played this. What is a push again?
Right. Isn't that just like an enhancement of?
It does. And let's check. What's the push? The push does.
This is an unexpected turn. It's not what I thought.
Yeah. Yes. They just use, I think, gaining pushes. Okay. Anyway, you can throw the first die. We'll see after that.
Well, I've thrown it already and I got one.
You got one? Okay, I guess you can throw your second one.
Okay. 4.
4? Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Sorry, I have to go back to the same page. This is where working with a PDF is not ideal.
Yeah.
Okay, 4. Borderline. Oof, just very close. They're playing this so close. Just so you have these creatures raging inches from your face, it would be enough to like freak anybody out.
Yeah.
You're just borderline cracking from the mental pressure.
Yeah.
But you find some reserve of inner strength from your hard-boiled days that just keeps you just right from the brink of permanent madness.
Oh my God. Okay.
All right.
Do I have anything?
So you can also.
So I'm stuck in a cage. I've just about clung onto my sanity.
Yeah,
Got
and you
raging
actually,
creatures.
as you realize, and they're really just going for the cloth, and some of them start leaving.
Yeah,
So right.
the blood on the cloth.
Okay. Sorry, wait. I'm just. Sorry. This is
No,
all
no, and
stuff I should have read before, but
the push enhances whatever I want to do.
yeah, not whatever. I think it's just I think there's challenges where I can offer you to have a push and it gives you an enhanced result.
Okay.
But I'm trying to figure out if it's wait, let me just research it. Okay. In some situations, so you don't always have it, yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's
And
what it was.
can you use the push in combination with the skills I've got?
Yes, but
Or does
it's
it depend
usually, I mean,
on the
tell me
situation?
what you want to do, and I'll tell you if you can use a skill and if you can use a push.
I want to see if I can get Roy, talk to
Yeah.
him to get him out, pull me up so we can talk.
And he's kind of like laughing manically at this point.
Oh,
Now, it doesn't mean you can't do that.
yeah.
Just so you know what he's going on right now. So
I'm also kind of like, okay, so these creatures have been created somehow or summoned or something.
okay, so what do you want to do?
I want to talk to Roy and say,
Mhm.
like, tell him to get me out somehow, or like, just so we can talk. Or I want, yeah, yeah, that's what I want to do. Is there something I could do?
Yeah. So this is what's going on. So if you're waiting and trying to talk to Roy,
He's
Roy is,
laughing.
huh?
Roy's laughing maniacally, right?
Yeah, and well, now a little bit less, kind of frowning a little bit, just looking at what's happening. Um,
And what? So and
and the
they,
monsters are just
yeah,
as they're not getting anywhere,
yeah,
starting to get starting
bored.
to give up.
Okay. Did you also say the monsters were kind of looking at the sheet
Yeah,
or scrubbing for the sheet?
yeah. So you could do a test in what's it? What's it? Let's go for it doesn't matter. Like throw a dice for I mean since it's not sense trouble, it's actually cool. It's about cool
Is that cool?
or stability.
Okay.
Yeah, keeping your cool is about trying to figure out what's going on. So you can
Yeah.
throw one dice, and if you
Okay. It's not looking good today. Two.
two,
Mm,
yeah, so you're getting something is going on here, obviously.
yeah.
Not exactly sure what, but they're reacting to something. It seems like, and they're snarling back up at Roy as well. So all that you can figure out is that these monsters are not getting what they wanted, and apparently Roy is not getting what he wanted either, what he expected. And some of the ghouls are leaving now.
Oh.
The ghouls are just like
So
snarling, turning around. They're snarling up at Roy. They seem to be really frustrated, and they kind of retreat off into the dark.
so they so my theory is that they were expecting easy someone to give in easily and be scared and just roll over. but almost like maybe it's a pack mentality. If you can establish that you're equal or alpha or whatever, they're going to respond to that. Or maybe the blood on the sheet, they wanted they wanted actual blood, literal blood. They were looking for blood and they didn't get any.
Well, so you're not sure of that. So this is your working theory.
That's my working theory.
But the other thing you're thinking is that probably Helen went nuts witnessing what you just witnessed.
Yes.
Because you're like, it would, for most people that are not as tough as you, it would be sufficient, and you were borderline probably not coming back from this, or having some like serious mental scarring and emotional scarring from just that experience.
Okay.
So how do you want to play it now? What do you want to do? So you can look at the lock in the cage.
Yeah, I was thinking that because I got the locksmith thing.
You could so actually let's run through, rather than me suggesting, what like, if you think, what are your possible options?
So the trying to get out of the cage and then get back up somehow. But if I get out of the cage, the thing's going to come back and eat me. Getting out of the cage and going out one of the two caves, which could lead to the ghouls, dog things, or could lead out as a form of escape. I don't know. Or getting out of the cage and trying to talk to Roy and say, look, I'm out of the cage, and say, like, just let me up, let me talk, let's talk. I've seen what you got down here. It's freaked me out. I don't really care about anything else, but like, what the hell?
Yeah. What else? What other options would you have? What other things could you do?
Could I climb out by myself? No, because Roy would just like smack me down.
Well, that's certainly a possibility. What else?
So I'm stuck in a cage. I got the sheet. The ghouls are going off.
What does it look like he wanted?
He looks like he wanted me dead. It looks like he wanted me to freak out by the sight of the ghouls, and then he could just take me and do whatever he wants.
Yeah. See where I'm going with this?
Like what he did to Helen.
No, but what could you do?
What could I do?
Yeah.
Pretend that my mind is gone.
Exactly. You could also
get out and then smack him over the head.
Yeah, you could do that. That's another possibility. What else? Are there any other ideas of what you could do? Do you still have your gun?
I didn't think I did. I didn't think I had a gun.
At all? No, you do have a gun.
Oh, I do have a gun. Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, you could.
But then, depending on
suggestions,
depending on how many ghouls that you were there, I don't think the bullets are going to stop a ghoul, but they stop Roy potentially. I want to get out and back up and find a way of subduing Roy so I can talk to him. That's what I want to do.
Okay. So in that case, probably pretending sounds like the easiest option at this point, because otherwise you have to get out of the cage as possible, but you also risk being in with those monsters, which depending, there might be stuff to find in the cave, in those kind of cave. It's like an old mine shaft, so it's an old tunnel rather than a cave. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
It's man built rather than natural, if that makes sense.
Okay. And
it doesn't make it any more palatable to go wander around.
No.
It looks half made and going into a cavern afterwards.
Right. And it's half, and there were two passages, weren't there?
Yeah. It's like you're in a tunnel of some kind.
50-50. No, I want to like pretend I've lost it.
Okay.
And then expecting Roy to pull me out and then take me and just leave me somewhere, thinking I'm completely catatonic, like assuming it's what he did to Helen.
Great. So you're just kind of like playing
Babbling.
catatonic, just looking like you're completely sort of freaked out and out of it.
Yeah.
And after a minute or two, Roy just works the winch again to rattle the cage back up to the ground floor level. I'm sorry, just and he opens the cage. What do you do?
I think I want to rely on element of surprise.
Yeah.
So like
You have it.
I have it, but like
So maybe you could just keep pretending, or you can deck him.
well, I don't. I'm assuming. Can
You
I
have an
deck him?
opportunity, basically.
That's what I want to deck him.
Yeah, great. So you go for it's a fighting challenge.
Yeah.
You can
I use a
start with
push?
one die.
Because
You
I don't
can
want
spend
to.
edges, but you don't have any edges. Do
Okay.
you?
I don't know.
I'll tell you.
4.
4, that's the first one. How much?
1.
5, borderline. Okay, you get an advance. So you just like give him a big old punch in the face, and you send him sprawling. He's
Yeah.
helpless.
Yeah.
So he's on the floor and half knocked out. He's like, no, don't, please.
Shove him in the cage. Close the door
Okay.
with the sheet. Lock the
All right.
door.
So what do you want to do?
He's in the cage and he's locked, right?
Yeah.
But he's not out of it.
Huh?
Like I could talk to him.
Oh yeah. You can talk to him.
Okay.
He's got a kind of half bloodied nose and he's a bit out of it, but he's not unconscious. You can talk to him.
Okay.
And or he'll come around in a couple of minutes. So you can, if you want to talk to him, you can.
Yeah. Okay. So what do I want to do? I want to ask him. So I think I want to tell him, Roy, I'm here to find out what happened to Helen, and I think I got a pretty good idea. Do you know who Helen is?
The
Helen
broad
Deacon.
that Mickey brought over?
Yeah, her.
Yeah.
What
I lowered her in the cage.
And then what happened?
I brought her back up and just left her in town.
You drove her to town and left her in town?
Yeah.
And that's all Mickey asked you to do?
Well, I mean, he doesn't know about the
things.
Yeah. I just told him about, the moonshine thing. You're not supposed to see that. You're not supposed to come back. How did you do that?
Well, that's my next question. What are they?
They're ghouls.
From where?
That's a good question. Where are the ghouls from? The Netherlands, I think.
And how come they listen to you?
I just feed them regularly.
What do you feed them with?
Well, my other side job is disposing of the bodies.
I see. And is that just for Crazy Mickey or for anyone who wants to pay you?
Oh, sorry, wait a second. Wait, sorry. They talk to me as well.
They talk to you?
Not the ghouls. They're just servitors. The voices of the elder gods speak to me. I have a role in their coming back. It's an important role, and so the ghouls have to be fed on a regular basis. I just organize this as a side deal, you know.
What have the gods said to you? What was the last thing the god said to you?
Oh, they don't speak to me directly. I'm just, you know, but I'm hoping to have a better space in the world after that. They're preparing the great nations.
So who translates the gods what the gods say for you? Who's their medium?
Oh, I understand, and I see it in my dreams and in the carvings down in the cave.
Oh, I see. What are the carvings of?
Oh, you have to go witness them yourself. It's just they're I don't know how to explain it. They're a message, and a glorious one, a message of the power to the power of the ancient elders,
Why does it sound familiar
secretly
to me?
controlling this
World.
plane of existence.
This is sounding really familiar, isn't it? Because who did I speak to? What to face? Madam Ava.
Mm.
So I want to. So Roy, have you heard of Argent Light?
I know, I've never heard of them.
You never heard of him? Oh, what else did I write down? It was Order of the Argent Light, wasn't it? From Madam Ava.
Yeah, Order of the Argent Light. That's right.
And he hasn't heard of Order of the Argent Light.
Yeah.
There's carvings down there of some weird stuff that he doesn't know what it is.
Yeah.
And he's talking about elders. When the elders
he's nuts. You're clear, like
Yeah.
this dude's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you can take him seriously, depending if you want. Like, this guy's clearly completely insane. I mean, he's just lured you in a cage with monsters.
Yeah. So Roy, who are the elders who are talking of the coming?
I don't know. I'm not privy to their understandings. I don't.
They're just called the elders, are they? Do they have any names?
Whisper something. Can't pronounce them all.
He's mad and he's talking in tongues, but I can't make out what he's saying.
No, you just like
he's
gibberish.
Just like, yeah, okay, fine.
It seems meaningful to him. I'm not saying anything anymore. You can kill me if you want.
I don't want to kill him. So, okay. So I could lower him down and leave him. I could find if there's a way down and go look at the carvings and then go back and talk to some dude.
Yeah.
Or I could go back to Margaret Deacon and tell her everything that happened and say, this is the deal.
Yeah. And you could contact the police or the mob, depending. Because the mob doesn't know about the monsters, apparently.
Yeah, Crazy Mickey just thinks that Roy is a guy who makes people disappear or gets rid of the bodies or puts, makes people go quiet for whatever reason, whatever his methods are.
Yeah.
Or take the information I've got and go. Isn't there a dude who I know who's like all into the occult stuff?
Yeah,
who knows all about old school.
Yeah, well, there's Madam. What's her face? Madam Eva, fortune teller.
But there's also Alfred Kellum.
Yeah, he's more on the opposite side. He's like, he believes in rational science, not in this nonsense.
Okay. I thought there was someone apart from it is Madam Eva. Madam Eva, no.
Just looking at the time, do you want to go straight to Margaret? Do you want to decide what to do? Basically, you just have to decide what to do with Roy.
Yeah,
there's enough evidence to throw him to the police or call the police or go talk to Margaret or talk to the mob, which is one way or another. Otherwise, it's just, and you can go explore the caves if you want.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, I know. Here's what I want to do. I want to go, I'm going to leave him in his cage, call the police, like an anonymous tip of
Yeah.
what's been going on in this garage, and then go tell Margaret exactly everything that happened and what happened to Helen,
Yeah.
and then maybe suggest to Helen that she takes suggest to Margaret that she takes Helen to see the shrink. Isn't there a shrink somewhere? I thought I had a shrink. Dr. McIntosh.
So on reporting to Margaret, from a streetwise perspective, you're kind of thinking that there's little point in trying to report or insist on the matter against the East Coast or Mickey or the mob or any of those guys. Probably. It's probably unwise to suggest that anybody get between their fights.
Yeah, I don't want to get in there with that. But I do want to be able to tell her this is what happened to your sister.
Yeah, sure.
So anonymous tips the police.
Yes, anonymous tip to the police.
And
soon after you come back, well, so you could just go talk to Margaret.
Yeah. So I've gone to talk to Margaret, and Margaret's what do you
tell her?
So Margaret, I figured out what happened to Helen. What happened is she was involved with the mob, and the East Coast mob. She was playing off the East Coast mob and the system against each other, and she got herself into a sticky situation. And what happened was they took her, fed her some moonshine, and she's catatonic as a result. She's freaked out. She knows she's seen some stuff, and I suggest you take her to a good shrink and get her sorted out. That's what's happened. But she needs to keep her nose out of things that don't concern her. Whatever you think is best for your dad or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's what happened to her.
Thank you. Well, she actually started responding a tiny bit, and I really thank you for all of your research and investigation, Mr. Raymond. She just started showing just tiny bits of recovery signs, so we're hoping that she's gonna be on the mend over time. And you're not smitten. And that's it. Shortly after, you hear that Whitey Alexander's inexplicably disappeared. You heard from your contact in the police that they raided and found the house and Roy and the moonshine, and kind of closed the case. And there's a procedure outlined. Let me see the end of it. There's something about the end of investigations that I'm not. There you go. Wait. Oh, it's here. Okay, got it.
I can see your mouse moving, but I can't see anything else moving. Oh, there's two.
Two what?
Yeah. I thought it was two. It looked like it was double, but it's not.
I was just looking at the rules online. When a case has been solved and the loose ends of its denouement are tied up, encourage the player to portray the detective's emotional state. Oh, yeah. So, okay. So you can describe, how would you describe the end of it? Like the how's Dexter, and, what's the situation in the end? How is he feeling about everything that happened?
I think that
a little bit of a kind of painted portrait of the final moments of this particular investigation.
Yeah.
What is he left with?
I think he's left with that there's more to this world than he realizes, and his insatiable curiosity does want him to go and find out a little bit more, but that's but without a case to work, he's not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's time to go drink some whiskey and speak to a shrink.
Yeah.
Take out drinking again, because there's no way I can deal with the PTSD of seeing a bunch of freaks.
Great. Good job. You can imagine light jazz music, the nightlife of
exactly.
Los Angeles in the 1930s.
but then it goes.
checking out for a drink in a moonshine little, like, you know, underground bar with a couple of like off work cops, and
Yeah,
go and have a discreet drink.
but of course it goes dark, and then you hear the kind of growling roar of a ghoul.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, right? So I was expecting more of the freaky weirdness earlier. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, because it's called Cthulhu Confidential. I was thinking, this is very, very standardly by the book so far.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting that at the end at all.
No.
I was wondering when it was going to happen, but I thought, okay, this is going to be a standard thing. No.
Yeah,
And
most
part
of
of
it
me,
is very, very standard, so, and it's very interlooping, intricate craziness,
yeah.
and with some weird, very unexpected thing at the end, which is on purpose.
Though okay, right. That was on purpose. I wasn't sure if it was. I wasn't sure if I
Yeah,
missed
like
something.
everything is standard aside from it being convoluted, but then lurking at the edge of everything is like some dark and mad things going on.
I
In this
wasn't
particular
sure
investigation, I have a couple of others that are different.
because I wasn't sure if I could have stumbled across the weirdness earlier.
It would have been difficult. You could have. Actually, there are a couple of other things if you had taken another pathway.
Okay. My guess is that the pathway was finding out more about the I don't know, maybe seeing the carvings and then linking it back to something else. But that's like that was not what I expected at all. I thought it was like going to be straightforward. The more it went, I was like, that's just a standard thing.
So you could have found out about the Argent Light,
Yeah,
investigated some of the crazy and occultist people,
yeah.
and there were a couple of other things and scenes that could have happened, but they're also sort of red herrings.
But exactly, because the focus is what the hell happened to
There's
Heather?
a whole other big red herring on like all the different vibes are.
Then the commie and the red
The
thread
Spielman,
and
the communists.
yeah,
Who
yeah.
Spielman's actually a Nazi chasing communists. And then there's a couple of scenes that are related to him that you can go find out that have nothing to do with anything.
The watching the Big Sleep really helped.
Yeah,
It really, really, really helped, and it helped get into I suppose get into the character. But I can totally see. So I didn't tell you. I think I wouldn't have told you this. So after the last time we were playing, Davina's like, "What are you doing?" Like it's like you were talking about someone else. I was like, "Yeah, it's Vin and I role playing." She was like, "Oh." I said, "Yeah, this is just it's a whole other world that we're in." And then I was as we were playing, I was like, "What?" I'm thinking of Get Out. We rewatched
I
Get
still
Out a
haven't
couple of
seen.
weeks
I still
ago.
haven't seen it.
Oh, this,
Have you seen Nope? I heard it was pretty good.
Now Davina didn't like it. I thought it was absolutely superb.
Yeah.
And it's a kind of weird, you feel like nothing much happens film, but there's layers. I need to watch it again. I want to watch it again because there's a lot going on in it.
Did you see everything? Oh, I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once.
What did you think of it?
I really liked it.
See, I did too.
I really, really liked it. I know a lot of people liked it, and I've been talking about the movies of the year with Ludo, my brother-in-law, who's very much into movies. So, and I promised him I would watch a few more before Christmas, so that because he usually wants to have a conversation about the best movies of the year, and I'm usually not very good at it. But I've taken more effort to write down the movies I'm watching and watch some of the ones he's watching, considering that he usually has good taste on what's the best. But he didn't really like it. He thought it was very messy and had very good ideas, but too many of them. I really liked it for those reasons.
Yes,
because it was weird.
Me too. Yes,
and,
me too.
And original.
Yes.
And so much that I am into ideas that I'm into.
Yeah.
And I mean, I really love the meaninglessness of everything.
Yeah.
And they go into it from an absurd perspective.
Yeah.
Which is makes it dangerous from a movie, because then you can't, it's kind of like, well, I can't take this seriously.
Yeah.
Compared to something like The Matrix.
Yes.
Where you have similar sort of ideas a little bit. But then that's part of the sense. If you're talking about the meaninglessness of everything, then there has to be some kind of like silliness. There doesn't have to be. But he does go into silliness completely.
but I think I
But I
think it
think
works
it's
well for
I
the
really
tone
I really
and
like it. It's super
I
weird.
thought it was
It's
great. I
super
thought it was
weird.
great. I thought it was great.
The
It
more I
was,
think about it, and I want to see it again, the more I
yeah,
think
me too.
about it, the more like it was really, really weird. And there's parts where you want this to be very meaningful, but that beats the whole thing of like, well, it's just anything everywhere. So the silliness kind of brings it into it. I think I really liked it. It's super
I,
weird. I mean, just
I,
the protagonist, the
yeah,
situation, the
yeah,
lo-fi of
yeah,
everything is
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah. Totally
Um,
agree.
and there's just some amazing scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to watch it again. And I also do think it's kind of long. It's kind of messy. There's a lot of ideas that go together. So, but I think it's all on purpose. It's by design. So I liked it better.
You kind of have to. It's one of those films where you just have to surrender to it. And
oh
there's
yeah,
not many
completely.
films. There's not many films like that, because a lot of films you're
In the
watching
midst of so
something.
many sequels and remakes,
Uh,
the idea of the movie is not original, but the execution is, and going full out in weirdness completely. Because
yeah, I'm with you.
the execution of this kind of ideas tend, of course, to be worthy and meaningful and action based and everything. If that makes any kind of
It
sense.
makes complete sense to me. Now, I have to say,
Yeah,
I did watch a film a couple of weeks ago. I have seen Wakanda Forever,
me
but I
too.
did watch.
And I went to see it on opening day with a full room, full cinema.
That must have been
That
great
was
vibe.
that's the thing that I wanted. I had time suddenly, and I was like, you know what? I think going in a big cinema with everybody there, and what mattered the most when I saw the first one, and I suspected would matter this time, which it did, being in a full big cinema screen with a lot of Black people for whom this
Yeah,
is meaningful in
yeah,
another way than it is for me.
yeah.
And just getting just the tiniest bit of a hint that I'm like, wow, this is very significant for some
It
of
is.
those people.
It is.
And the movie itself was okay, but
Yeah.
I
It
thought
it
it
was.
was okay. It was not.
It
It was
wasn't.
good, by the way, even good,
Yeah.
but
It
better
wasn't.
than some of the latest Marvel movies.
Yeah. It
But
wasn't like a normal Marvel film. It was different, and it was unexpectedly moving, and I thought it was well done. But I did see another film
yeah,
that has catapulted itself into my favorite films ever.
okay. Oh, really?
Yeah, the Banshees of Inisherin.
Yes, you told me about it, and my brother-in-law told me that he's highly expecting that movie.
Oh,
I rewatched, and I hadn't seen it in a long time, in Bruges with my girlfriend, which was such a good movie. I hadn't seen it in so long because it's the same director
yeah,
and
yeah, but
actors.
have you seen
So
Seven Psychopaths as well?
a long time ago. I'd like to see it again,
So he
actually.
did that as well, and he did
So the
five.
Banshees of Inisherin is supposed to come out in the cinema in France soon, and I'd like to see it at the movies.
So good.
I think it's meant to come out in the next month before the end of the year, but I'm really looking forward to it, and even more so since you told me about it.
Gosh, it's so good. I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah,
I was like, I almost, because when I read up about him, he's a playwright, and
I mean the dialogues from In Bruges are so good. I'd
it is
forgotten
really
how
good.
good
I
they
kind of
are.
want to rewatch it, but
It's really good. It's
Colin
not a happy
Farrell's
film
great.
though. It's not a happy film, but it's
It's
very
not,
funny.
but they're both the same guys are in it. Colin Farrell and Brendan,
Brendan
whatever his name is.
Gleeson.
Brendan
Is it
Gleeson, I
Gleeson?
think it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, Tom Hall Gleeson,
Yeah.
dad. But it's very good. The thing I like about it so much is it's really about guys
Yeah.
and
That
what
sounds
guys are
good.
like. And I think I also liked all the Catholic imagery and like the all of that kind of world. But it's one of those films that could easily translate to the stage. You
Yeah.
could feel it, but it wasn't like. Have you seen Fences?
No,
Denzel.
I don't know. I've not seen that.
No, so that's very definitely a play that's been put on big
Right.
screen,
Yeah.
and it didn't. Whereas the is it The Father?
Oh yes, I've seen that. That was good.
That
It was a
was a
play.
play
Yeah,
made
and it
into a
works as a
film,
movie.
and it really worked as a
Yeah,
film.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was such a great film as
It's a
well.
very, very good film. It
Very,
was
very good
really,
film.
really like wow. It was
Yeah, I was
oh,
too.
and actually I think he's also in I heard that Armageddon Time is really good. With what's his name? The actor who's now aging, Anthony Hopkins.
Never heard
I
that.
think
Never
he's
heard
in
about
it.
that.
And so apparently that's one of the expected movies that's just come out from a good director. A couple of family members told me it was really good, Armageddon Time.
I'd love to know what you think of the Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh,
I really
I'm
would.
looking forward to it. I'll see it in the next, probably before the end of the year for sure.
Very cool.
Yeah. I finished Nudge, the final edition.
Uh-huh.
I had a hard time finishing the book. It was a slog at the end of it. The last few chapters that mostly are new, that were good, but and valuable, but also just less interested in, because it was very much their opinions on how to apply their theories
And the
to
world has
different areas,
changed.
to finances, to climate change. And I was getting a bit bored of it by then. So it was still interesting, but it was like, okay, now I'm like, okay. Things like there's a whole new chapter about climate change that starts with saying, well, the problems of climate change are unlikely to be solved with nudges. But then he goes into explaining how they can still make a difference. And you're like, all right, well, it's getting a bit slogging. And you're like, and that, well, it depends on opinions. It's not that I don't think that nudges can't be useful. It's that you just said that they're not particularly useful. So why are you telling me your whole opinions about nudging for climate change? It doesn't seem to be particularly useful.
Exactly.
And my eyes were glazing over on all the retirement advice because, well, I would, just like a lot of numbers and a lot of stuff, which is still interesting, but a little bit difficult to read. Anyway,
I'm behind on books. Although I'm enjoying some
I'm
fiction.
bang on time, and I'm reading a tiny book and another fiction book that I'm reading fast. So I'm reading my 21st and 22nd. I'm almost done.
Oh, I'm reading The Night Manager, the John le Carre that was made into a TV series with Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. It's really good.
Okay.
And it was his first book that was kind of post Cold War.
All right.
Because I read The Constant Gardener when it came out, and that freaked
I've not
me
read
out.
any of those books. I watched the movie. But...
Yeah, The Constant Gardener as a book is just, it's horrible. Depressing. But the Night Manager feels like a hero story, intricately plotted, all over the shop. You're like, just what the hell's going on, in a very kind of, well, I think it was written in 93, but it almost feels like you can feel 9/11 is about to happen, the way it's written. So yeah, it's really good. So I'm enjoying that, and I'm getting through it quite quickly. So I then need to buy, what was the one you keep recommending to me? Super easy fiction, Dresden Files.
Yeah, I'm reading another one. I'm reading the volume 15 of that. It's so good.
How many are there? Does 18. It get to the end?
It's not done. No, I'm getting closer and closer, and it's not done yet. So it's so good, so good.
I think I did read.
It's very enjoyable. It gets even better after the third. The first and second are good. It's really good. I recommend it highly. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. I reckon I'm going to read that and just get.
If you enjoyed The Big Sleep and this Cthulhu Confidential, it's the same style of stuff, but mix it in with Die Hard in vibe, and vampires and supernatural stuff. Because what I mean is, every one of his books, he's in like dire situations, and he's almost dead at every single scene, and still managing to survive and become out of it stronger.
That's what I liked about.
And it's a lot of fun. It's just like high-packed, very easy to read.
The Grey Man was actually a very good book.
Okay.
Same kind of idea. He gets himself into stupid situations, and how does he survive? And he does.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I am actually really enjoying this.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable reads. Yeah.
They are. Cool. Right, I really need to go to
really, really nice. I have the same thing. I really, really badly. Thank you very much for playing with me. That was cool. We finally made it through the whole adventure.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. And it was really good. And here's what I've learned. I need to take notes that I can read. I need to find a way of making sure that because I love stories, so I get into the story of it, but I need better notes.
Yeah, maybe next time we can do a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Oh, that'll be awesome. But it doesn't mean that you can't do it with two. You need more people, right?
No, you can do it with two. Okay. It's nice to be with more people, but you could do a one person adventure.
Okay, cool. I'm up for that.
All right, cool.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
And goodbye to the hordes of fans watching.
Yes.